Hello guys and welcome to a new tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the map method, which is a JavaScript built-in method. So I'm going to show you guys how to use the map with Reactjs. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be using codesandbox.io. And if you guys want a copy of this project, I'm gonna be leaving a link to this project in the description below. So as you can see here, I do have my project. And I have created two files. So the first one is uuidv4.jsx. So I have created my functional, it's a functional component, and I exported it. So export default uuidv, so I can use it in my app.js. So first thing that I need to do, I have to import my file uuid version 4 from to be able to use it, and then I'm going to include it here inside my JSX. So uuid version 4, and as you can see, it does return pets, cars, and smartphones. Okay. So what is map method? Well, we use map method to iterate over an array using a callback function, because the map method takes in a callback function, and this callback function passes three arguments: a value, an index, and an array. So let me uncomment this. So again, so the map method takes in an array. I'm just using map in this example, and then it does pass in it uses a callback function which returns two arguments. So let me delete this, uncomment my example. And also guys, if you want to read a little bit more about map, you can go to MDN website, search for map method, and then you can read a little bit more about it. Okay. So in this example, I have taken the array paths. I'm going to be using the map method. So as I said, this map method returns, or by itself takes in a callback function, and this callback function returns or passes three arguments: a value or element, index, and then an array. So I went ahead and I typed in console.log for each argument. So if I refresh, this is what I get. Okay, so the callback function did iterate through each element of paths array. So what I got is an like in this case, let me change element to value, so that way it makes more sense. Okay, so I got the value of cats for the first one, for the first element, which has an index of 0, and then I got the whole array back. Okay, so cats, dogs, birds. And this callback function will do the same with the second element, or the second element. So I get the value of dogs, index of 1, and then the whole array, and the same with the last element. So birds, which has an index of 2, and then the whole array. Alright, so let me comment this, and then I'll show you how to use a map method with React. So if I come under paths, if I want to use a JavaScript inside of JSX, I have to use this JavaScript expression inside of curly brackets. Okay, so I'll do the same thing that I did here with my example. I'm gonna take in my array, which is pets. I'm gonna use the map method, and as I said, this map method by itself takes in a callback function. So you can either use function, parentheses and then curly brackets, or in this case I'm going to be using ES6. So I'm just going to use the fat arrow function. So this pet's going to return a value of pet, and I'm going to use it inside an li tag. I'm gonna refresh, and as you can see under pets I have cats, dogs, and birds. But in my console, Reactjs throws in this warning which says each element or each child must have a unique key. Well, with the map method, as I said, it does return a value, but it also returns an index, which is a number. So I can take advantage of it and then pass in the index argument, and then I can use it for my key, because as I said, in pets each element has a unique index. So cats has an index of 0, dogs has an index of 1, and then birds has an index of 2, etc. So key, I'm going to give it the value of index. So on top of key, I'm going to pass in an ID. So I'm going to give each element an ID as well. And then this ID, I'm going to give it a value of index. So if I refresh, my warning should go away. So if I inspect here, as you can see, this is cats, dogs, and then birds. But each element has a unique key and a unique ID, which is 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so that's why my warning went away. Well, this is very simple, but if you want to use a more complex key generator, you can use a node package that's called uuid. So if you go to npm, search for uuid, and then we can use it. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to use version 4. So what I have to do is, let me find it first. Here, I'm going to copy this, include it here with my project, in my project. But before I can use it, I have to add the dependency, the package, which is uuid. And in Code Sandbox, it's as easy as adding it, typing it here, uuid, and then click enter. So as you can see, it did add it. So now I can use it. Okay, so let me bring this, copy, just to show you how version 4 works. So I'm gonna uncomment. Actually, let me delete this, I don't need that. Delete, so I'm gonna delete this as well, and then alright, so uuid version 4, it's a function, so we have to use the parentheses. Okay, if I refresh, this gonna return each one gonna return a unique, refresh, so each one gonna return a unique key or or ID, as you can see. Okay, so now let me comment this. So now to use it is as easy as replacing the index with uuid version 4, and then I'll do the same thing for ID, uuid version 4 parentheses, and like right now I don't need to use index. Okay, so if I refresh, my warning went away, and then if I inspect it, each ID here will have different, or each key will have different different ID or different key, a unique key which is different. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same for my other array, which is cars. So I'll comment their cars, do the same thing, curly brackets, cars dot map, and as we said, it takes a function, a callback function with a value of car, and it's gonna return an ally tag, car. So car, it's an object, as you can see here, which has a key value. So the key is a brand. So if I want to get hold of the value, like Volvo, Nissan, Honda, I have to type in car dot brand. Okay, and as you can see, I got my this is my result, and this one will throw the same warning that each child must have a unique key. When it comes to an array that consists of objects, we have two different ways to take advantage of this package uuid version 4. So I'm going to show you the first way. So it's going to be the same what we did with the pets array. So key uuidv version 4, which is a function, so I have to use my parentheses, and then I'm going to give it an ID, which is the same, uuid version 4, and then my warning went away, and if I inspect it, it's going to be the same as what we did with pets. So each, as you can see, cars, and each child has a unique key. As you can see, each one is different. Okay, well, instead of using the uuid inside of the li element, I can include it like in my phone. I can include my ID here with inside of my object, and I can use uuid version 4 here, uuid version 4. This is with the array phones, so let's use it here. So phones dot map. So it's going to be phone callback function, which will return an ally tag phone dot brand. So here I got my a list of all my phones. Okay, and with the same here, React throws in the error that each child must have a unique ID and unique key. So I can use this ID here. So I'll do the same. So key equals phone dot ID, and then I'm gonna give it an ID as well, which with a value of phone dot ID. If I refresh, all my warnings should go away, and the same if I inspect it, I will see that each list has a unique, like smartphones, each list has a unique key. Okay. Alright, so this is version 4. So version 5 is slightly different. So if I go to the npm package, uuid package in npm, so this is version 5, and to use it, I'm gonna copy this, import version 5 as uuid version 5. I'm gonna include it inside of my uuid version 5 file, and I don't have to install uuid because it's already installed. Okay, so we're good there. So in order to use version 5, this is what we need to do. We need namespace, which is a string, and it says array of 16, and then I need a name, which is a string, and this is how to use it. So uuid, which is a function, it's gonna take 2 arguments. The first one, it's a string, and then the second one, it's this code right here, namespace. So let's include it. I'm gonna copy it, include it with my project. Okay. And if I come here to npm, to this package, node package, you see there is this website, which is right here. If I refresh, it will give me a new key, and you can use version 1 or version 4. In my case, I'm using version 4 to get this string, or this long code with letters and numbers. All I have to do is copy it. I will come back to my project. I can give it, you can give it any name that you want. I'm just gonna name it my code, and it's a string, so it has to be inside quotes, sorry. I'm gonna paste it. So my code. So if I console log this function, let's see what we get. I'm gonna save it and refresh, and I have to come to app.js, and then I have to import my file, which is import uuid version 5 from the file, and then I have to pass it on to my inside of my app components. So uuid version 5, and you will see it here. So hobbies, so version 5, let me close this. So version 5, it does pass in 2 h3 elements. So the first one is hobbies, version 5, and then TVs, which we can see right here. So inside of this uuid version 5 file, I did console.log uuid version 5 file, and as I said, in order to use it, it will take 2, it's a function, so it will take 2 arguments. The first one is a string, comma, and then a code. And if you want to get this code, you just have to come to this website, which is uuidgenerator.net, and then you can choose either version 1, generate a version 1 or a version 4 ID. Okay. So when I console log, this is what I get. This is the key that I get, you see. But let me just show you guys one thing quick. Let me comment this, okay, and uncomment this. My code, let me, so I'm gonna use my underscore code here, my underscore code. So see over here, so the value that I pass, or the first argument, it's a game with uppercase, a game with lowercase, and game with uppercase. So you see this game with uppercase here, the first one and the third one, they have the same code, or the same ID, I'm sorry, as you can see here. So it's the same exact thing, but this one, it has a lowercase g, so it did give me a different ID. Why am I saying this? If you have an array that has the same, like let's say like running, like in hobbies, for example, if I have, for some reason, I have two values with the same two values or two elements with the same string, like running, and for example running here, this one will throw an error that says two children have the same key. And what we said is that Reactjs React expects the keys to be unique, expects each element to have a unique key. But I'm going to show you guys how to resolve this this issue. Okay, so let me delete this one for now, and let's use code version the version 5. Comment this. So it's the same. Under my hobbies, I'm going to use curly brackets. So I'm going to start with hobbies dot map, and as we said, it takes a callback function. So hobby, and it's going to return ally tag hobby. Refresh. So again, it's right here, hobbies, but again I get the same warning. This one expects a unique key, so the key equals, so I'm just gonna grab uuidv5, which is a function, and I'm gonna pass in a hobby here, and I'm gonna use my code. Okay, so hobbies comma my underscore code, and I'm gonna pass in an ID that has the same value, uuid version 5, that takes in two arguments. The first one is, I'm sorry, this one has to be single hobby, not plural. It's this one over here. So hobby comma my underscore code. I have an error. My underscore code. and then ID. Oh, I put the curly brackets here. That's wrong. It needs to be over here. So if I refresh, my warning went away. And if I check, if I inspect this, each element should have a unique key. So if I come down to hobbies, as you can see, each one has a unique key. Okay? Well, what about, let's say, if the hobbies array has a duplicate arrays. So I have run in here and I have run in here. This is the warning that you will get. Warning: encountered two children with the same key. Because let me show you here. Let me uncomment this. So if I type in run in here and then run in here, if I refresh, you see, so it says 2. I don't know if you can see it here. So there is 2 and then the same code. As you see, so both of them return the same code, and that will throw an error that we got because these two elements cannot have the same key. So in order to solve this issue, as we said earlier, the map method returns 2 arguments, so the value and then index. Okay, so even though, sorry about that, so even though running, I have duplicates running here, but each one has a different index. So the first running, this one has an index of 0, but the last one has an index, in this case, of 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. If I add my index here, then I'm gonna get 2 different codes. Okay, if I refresh, my warning went away, and I'll do the same with ID, and I'll show you index. So as you can see, I have running here and I have running, but I don't have any errors because I added this index here, because each one has a unique index or a different index. So the first one has an index of 0, the last one has an index of 3. Okay, but I can show you here if I uncomment this. So if I want to grab running from hobbies, what I have to do is delete this hobbies because it's an array. So I need hobbies. First one has an index of 0. Okay, plus and it has an index of 0. Okay, or I can use hobbies index of running. So because I'm grabbing the hobbies, the first one that has index of 0, and if I want to get the index which is 0, this is what I need. I need to grab hobbies dot index of running, of this running, and this whole code will return 0. Okay, and this is the code that I get. And I'll do the same with this one, with the second one. Let me just copy and paste. So copy this, paste it, but I want to get the last one, which is 0, 1, 2, and 3. So hobbies, I want to grab the element that has an index of 3. Actually, this one won't work. So let me just delete that. But anyway, so as I said, let me simplify my code here. Just the video is getting too long, so that's why I don't wanna, because there is a way to get the index of this one because of the last running. Okay, but it's just gonna take too long, and this video is getting too long already. So okay, so as you can see, so all you have to do to solve that problem now, even if I have running, if I have, let's say, this array that has running like 4 times, this will not throw an error, just because, and as you can see, I have run 4 times but I don't have any errors, just because I'm adding this index, because each one has a different index, and this code will give me a different, so each one, so when the map method loops through the hobbies, every time it loops through one element, I get a different ID. Okay, just because of this index that I added here. And I'll show you. If I inspect this, so as you can see, hobbies, so this one running, and running, but yet it's the same string, but I have different IDs. Okay, I hope that makes sense, guys. Alright, so let's do the same with the TV here. So curly brackets TVs dot map, I'm gonna return TV callback function that has an argument of TV, my fat arrow, and this one will return an ally tag with TV. And if I want to grab the name, the key, I have to include the value of each TV. I need to add here the key brand. The same, I'm gonna pass in the key uuid version 5. This one will take TV plus index, comma, and then I'm gonna use my underscore code. Okay, and I'll do the same with ID. So ID equals, and I'll just copy and paste. Okay. ID Oh, sorry, because I did not add index here. That's why. Okay. So here is my TVs, and I don't have any errors. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please, if you liked it and if you think you learned something new, please subscribe and like the video. And also, if you have any questions, make sure you include it in the comments section. Alright guys, let me know if you have any questions. Thank